During the First and Second World Wars, Canada came under attack by Germany's U-boats. By the end of World War II, technological advancements allowed Allied ships to detect and destroy these submarines more easily. Commander Peter Goodwin Chance of the Royal Canadian Navy lived through 2 attacks on U-boats. The first one took place on June 1994 on board the HMS Skeena in the aftermath of D-Day.
I was a lieutenant. My ship Skeena was one of the assault ships for the liberation of Europe from the Nazis. And our job was to prevent submarines getting into the beach. We patrolled right at the corner, northwest corner of France, and there was a line across with other groups of ships patrolling with the object of the exercise of keep submarines from getting in. Well, we tangled with a submarine.
4 ships from the Royal Canadian Navy, including the Skeena, were patrolling the area off the French coast near the city of Brest. The Skeena caught the U-boat U-953 in its sonar and tried to destroy it by launching rings of 24 bombs called Hedgehogs. U-953 responded by launching an acoustically guided torpedo against Skeena. It merely destroyed the sound-emitting torpedo decoy the Skeena was towing. 3 Canadian destroyers were attacked by the U-953 during this battle and were reported sunk by the U-boat captain. In reality, they had outmaneuvered their opponent. Their respective anti-torpedo decoys were destroyed, but the ships were unharmed. The U-953 not only survived these encounters, but was the last seaworthy U-boat of the German fleet by the war's end.
But an interesting corollary to that one was that they had a man on board who'd been wounded, whose name was Karl Baumann. Karl Baumann was sent to a hospital in Brest, and when the Americans came in, he became a POW, and they sent him to Virginia. You'd think it was the end of it? No, because about 20 years ago now, I had a phone call. I got to speak to Karl. And so sure enough, at the end of his time there, when he was repatriated, he went to Germany, got his sweetheart, Annalisa, and brought her back to Virginia.
A few months later, with the Skeena having been destroyed by a hurricane in Iceland, Lieutenant Chance was now aboard the HMCS Seacliff. In the North Atlantic, northwest of the Azores, the Seacliff was trailing a submarine in a joint operation with the HMCS St. Thomas.
On the 27th of December, 44, I was in a ship returning to my bride of a month, and we and another ship, we got a submarine, and we raised it to the surface.
While the Seacliff was armed with Hedgehog bombs, the St. Thomas attacked the U-boat U-877 with its own armament of squid.
Squid was a lethal bomb that came on quite late in the war. It was like a 45-gallon drum, but it was loaded with the explosives. And by this time, we had what we call a dipping sonar. You could actually curve the beam down, and so we could get the right depth. And you could set the depth on the bomb, on the squid bomb. And of course, up came the submarine. And as I say, we got them all out. And half the crew came to us and half went to the other ships. The Gestapo guy was exposed. And we got him clear of the remainder of the ship's company. There were 52 of these fellows, but we must have had about 25, I suppose, half of them. And all they wanted then was paper and pencil to write home, which they did. We landed the entire ship's company of the submarine, and before they got into coaches to go off to prison camp, the captain lined his people up and gave us 3 cheers for saving them, which I thought was pretty good. We treated them like sailors. The sea was the common enemy.
The U-877 sank shortly after its crew was evacuated. The German second-in-command on board contacted the second-in-command of the St. Thomas every year thereafter to thank him for saving his life. The sinking of the U-877 demonstrated to Canadians that their ships could successfully engage with modern U-boats.
Believe me, our country fought miles above its expected levels, whether it was on land or sea or in the air. But the Canadians, we were pretty goddamn important. I was proud of my people.